Welcome to High Tea with Dirk and Rens, the first Dutch podcast about cannabis culture. My name is Dirk Bergman.
And my name is Rens Hoppenbrouwers. This episode is sponsored by Seedstockers, affordable cannabis seeds for home growers, available at seedstockers.com.
It's great weather. The sun is shining right into our little studio in Eindhoven. And we have a fantastic guest in the High Tea Podcast studio today, Bobby from La Kalada, a cannabis social club in Barcelona. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Hi to all the people.
Yes, we will talk about La Kalada, of course, and about the club scene in Barcelona. But first, we will discuss some major cannabis news stories in our news segment.
Yes, indeed. Germany presented its legalization plans this week, and the Czech Republic followed suit with their plan to legalize the plants. And here in the Netherlands, the court case against coffeeshop the Blowboot, the smoking boat in Almere, keeps dragging on and has been for over 13 years now. So we will talk a bit about that crazy case.
And as always, you can listen to our regular segments, What's in Your Joint Today, our history segment box, the old box, listeners' responses, and the High Tea Podcast Kweekhoekje, the Grow Corner, our homegrown segment.
This is High Tea with Dirk and Rens, episode 74.
74, and it's beautiful weather. We have our big friend, legend and hash maker in the house, Bobby La Kalada, and as always, I love to start with our first segment. What's in your joint today?
Wat zit er in jouw joint vandaag?
Yeah, and of course, we love to tell you what we're smoking this episode. And Bobby, what are you rolling at this moment?
I'm rolling this moment a fruit joint. The Fruit Joy is a selection that we do and a collaboration that we do some years ago with Grateful Seed and Jivois in Barcelona. So we put the papaya, Jivois put our selection of Barbara Bud, and Grateful Seed do the magician to cross the two plant. And this is my phenotype number 20.
Number 20.
Yeah.
I think most of the people, but I think a lot of people will already know or heard of the name of Fruit Joy. And I think I remember, serious, the first time I tried it, it was in the Dan Grass Club, and Pietro came to me very happy with some hash, and he said, you have to try this. And if you can imagine any kind of fruity flavors, like a tropical mix, with a sweetness undertone, I think that's a good explanation of Fruit Joy. What you know.
Yeah. Super tropical plant.
It's a really
even now
party.
I have the idea that I smell it before you even light the joint. You know, as if the terps are really floating around the studio.
I'm sure it's flying through this room at the moment. This Fruit Joy. And Derek, what are you? Do I see a joint?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
but it's already a bit small.
It's a little one.
I'm still doing my duty as a judge for the High Life Cannabis Cup. And I actually held back this sample from a new category in the cup. They ditched the difference between indica and sativa for this year and came up with a bunch of new categories, including old school, which is now the B category. So I'm smoking this sample B3, and I think it's the best in this category for sure. I didn't know what strain it was. We talked about it a bit. You both had your expert look and came up that it might be OG18. I don't know. It's a really lovely looking bud, kind of purplish, and it's a great smoke. I can say it got the highest ranking for me in this category for looks, but now I think also for taste.
But it was an off-the-record guess, Derek.
Yeah, off the record, of course.
It smells, folks, really like a real nice OG. So.
And in that respect, to have it entered into the old school category, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
You haven't lit up yet, Rens. What's in your joint vandaag?
I had the opportunity to roll a really, really nice joint, and I haven't lighted it yet because I'm a bit scared of it, because I know how my English sound after a few joints, and this is going to be a double one. But it's a cross of papaya with
and banana jelly.
Banana jelly.
Yeah. It's a new selection it's a new cross of Grateful, and they call Mela Verde.
Yeah. It's a green apple.
Green apple, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm already seeing which one is also your favorite. If I see but this is a wonderful, how you say that? It's a lovely thing that we can try those things while recording this podcast. So thank you, Bobby, for bringing this gems with you.
It's a pleasure. Share the terps always.
That's really, really nice. I think it's a good time to go to the new segment for the day. Yeah, and there is huge news. On April 12th, the German government presented their legalization plans at a press conference in Berlin. Did you watch it live, Derek?
Yeah, I was ready and waiting for it. I also live tweeted it. That's the kind of thing I do, being both activist and cannabis journalist. It was a lot of fun, actually. Two ministers were there. Karl Lauterbach, who is the health minister in Germany, and also Cem Özdemir, who is the minister of agriculture and nourishment, voedsel. And he's from the Grüne, so he's more pro-legalization than Lauterbach is, because Lauterbach, he changed his mind. For years he was against legalization, but now he realized that it is indeed a much better choice than repression. So they presented their plan and came up with something they called the two-pillar approach. And the first pillar will be that the possession, home growing and non-commercial cannabis clubs will be legalized. And then the second pillar will be that there will be a series of regional model projects with commercial cultivation and sales in shops for a period of 5 years. So it's like a wietproef, a weed very similar to our weed experiment here in the Netherlands. So the idea is, they specifically stated that too, that for the first pillar they don't have to go to the European Commission and ask for some kind of whatever, a green light. Because this is all, say, non-commercial clubs. It's about personal possession and all this. The rules that have now surfaced for the clubs is that they can have a maximum number of 500 members total. And they can buy a maximum of 25 grams per transaction and no more than 50 grams a month. And they want to introduce a THC limit for under 21-year-olds. So for the 18, 19 and 20 years old, there will be some THC cap. Doesn't make much sense to me anyway. And the worst thing I would say is that at the moment, the consumption on site will not be allowed in the clubs. So you basically only get your stuff there.
Sorry,
and,
I don't understand the part of the quantity of.
You can buy 25 grams in one time.
Okay.
But no more than 50 grams total a month.
Okay.
That's the idea.
Yeah, yes, good.
And so it's interesting to see there are at the moment already a lot of cannabis social clubs who are just not growing weed, but they already have the members and they already do some activities, so they can really be fast
right
and
away.
they can start right away. And actually yesterday I talked to Georg Woert, who we had of course on the Germany special on the High Tea Podcast earlier. And he explained that he thought this is the cannabis club solution and the home grow solution, because that's also part of the first phase of the plan, that you can have 3 flowering female plants per adult. And he said, so if you smoke a lot of weed and you are really into cannabis, this is quite good.
Yeah.
But if you are not a regular consumer and just somebody who every now and then wants to buy some cannabis to smoke or whatever, then this is no good because you have to be a member of a club. You don't probably want to bother growing your own weed. So this is really, I think that's a good point, because before we get to the situation that there will be regular commercial shops, this will only be a model project for the next 5 years, and then there's still no certainty what they will do. There was this Dutch journalist at the press conference who asked the question if the German government thought that the Netherlands, the Dutch cannabis policy was any example. And he pretty much answered no, and said that the Dutch combination of legal sales and consumption and the black market production is a sum of disadvantages. And he actually used the German term gemeinsame Konsum, which means like collective consumption, like what we like so much, both in the clubs in Barcelona and also in the coffee shops, that we can get together and smoke weed together like we are doing right now. So I don't understand why he would say that is a disadvantage of the Dutch policy. And then I saw this tweet and I thought, well, I have to read this on the podcast by Tom Blickman, who maybe not all the listeners
it's a
will
good
know.
one. Yeah.
From Transnational Institute. It's a non-governmental organization specializing in drug policy and working to end the drug war, you could say. And he tweeted that he thought this statement was a bizarre statement by Lauterbach. One of the reasons the Dutch have such a weird cannabis policy is that every attempt in the past to legally regulate the market was nipped in the bud by resistance from Germany and France and the US and everybody else. And now they copy the Dutch example of starting a pilot project. Karl Lauterbach should at least have recognized that Germany bears some responsibility for that sum of disadvantages. Yeah, indeed, I think he has a point here, because it's true. France was always on our back, criticizing the Dutch for having a tolerant policy, but also Germany, depending on who was in the government. So maybe not so much critique, and maybe a bit more, what you say in Dutch or in English, a bit more nederigheid for Karl Lauterbach.
Yeah, exactly. But I was also wondering, like 50 grams a month.
Yeah.
If you're a pure smoker, that's like that's one joint a day.
Yeah, it's not too much.
It's interesting the things that I'm surprised that the Europe take the way of the social club like Spain, because now Malta, German, Switzerland, everything do something like Spain, similar to Spain, and I think in the beginning that the way is more like coffee shop, just something that the country want.
They do
profit,
not,
just not.
Yeah, they do not want coffee shops.
Yeah,
they want non-commercial.
Yeah, but this can be a good way for the cannabis community, because a social club can be a point when the cannabis community can put the fight together versus the cannabis industry. Mm-hmm. So we can start to do something like Barcelona in the other country of Europe, and we can try to do something really good for the community and for the customer.
Yeah, for sure. So a German La Kalada social club would be a really good idea.
Would be a dream,
yeah, man. Holy moly.
Yeah, because one other thing that to me, and it's certainly different from Barcelona, is you will only be allowed to be a member of one club. That's it. No more.
In
clubs.
German.
Yeah.
In Malta, though, they want just one customer, one club.
Yeah. Which to me,
this
come on, you don't go to one bar and are prohibited to go to any other bar if you like alcohol. What's all this,
Yes, but I think this is the first things that change in all the country, because finally is recreational weed. So the people or take the weed inside the club or take the weed outside, but they share our joint, so the people know what you smoke outside. So the people finally want to move in the other club, and or your inscription and your don't inscription go fast, or the people, I don't know, we need to change some things, because it's impossible to do some just in one bar or just in one club.
It's true. It's all step by step, bird by
exactly.
bird.
Yeah, and also clubs, if they have all 500 members, that comes one time a year to get one joint and a coffee. then you're also so they also gonna select on who's gonna be a member.
And I also thought this was an interesting comment by a German cannabis lover on Twitter, who tweeted on the day of the press conference. Berlin has around 3.8 million inhabitants. It's estimated that about 10% of the population consumes cannabis. That's 385,000 consumers in Berlin alone. If cannabis social clubs are kept at 500 members, the city would need 770 clubs. And total in Germany, 16,640. Does that make sense?
Interesting number.
Yeah. Really.
So I think that this also goes back to the point of Georg saying, yeah, if you consume a lot of cannabis and you are really into it and you can grow your own, etc., then this is not bad. But if you are a casual consumer, then this won't work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, but grow your own it's be a possibility for the customer, but it's not the only way, because not all the people can grow your weed. Because I live,
True.
for example, I born in a part of it. I live in a part of Italy that you don't have a lot of sun. You don't are in a good zone to grow. So if you do the best grow that you can do, maybe you can smoke 2 months. Like a customer like me is not the good way. So I need another way to find my weed. And I want to try another weed, because I can't smoke just free flavor all my year. It's impossible. It's bored the life.
It's possible, but
it's possible, but it's a bored life.
True. You don't want it.
It's how many people I see at the coffee shop that smokes amnesia haze
that's
for
interesting.
16 years long, and
Some people do like to have always the same flavor.
incredible how they. I think they also eat every day the microwave, the microwave dinner.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Also, for the people who loves amnesia every day, I respect also you. I'm happy.
Yes.
The Czech government also unveiled their legalization plan just after Germany did. How will they legalize? Is this really going on?
Yeah, this is really it's breaking news, you could say, because the document itself, I checked right before we started to record the podcast, and it's still not there. But the Prague Morning and other media also in the Czech Republic have reported on it. And it sort of makes sense, because the guy who is responsible in the Czech government for the legalization, he has said before that they are watching Germany very closely, how they are going to do it, and also talking to the German authorities about how they can do it. So it makes sense that they really, the day after the Czechs, or the day after the Germans had their plan, the Czechs came with theirs. And the idea, what has now been in the media in Czech, is that people will be able to buy 5 grams per day, but need to register in a database. And growers and sellers would have to pay annual fees. And the Prague Morning also reports that the proposal is still in its draft form, but it is set to be debated in Parliament this month, so in the month of April 2023, with implementation potentially starting next year, so 2024. And the Czech Republic really is a good candidate, and I think they will go forward for sure with this plan. But then the specifics of it are again interesting. Will they also be having cannabis social clubs? It seems now that they are going for commercial cultivation and commercial sales. So really different from Germany, at least with the 2 pillars, with first the clubs and then the commercial. So this will be interesting to see. I saw someone reacted saying, will they not have their Luxembourg moment? Which indeed is a possibility, because as we all know, Luxembourg also introduced, we're going to legalize the whole thing, and we're going to legalize production, and then not just only home growing and maybe seeds they legalize, and still there is no law proposal there. Oh. So we can summarize that there is movement, but it's none of it is definitive yet.
But we could make like a map almost now. Also, what they
It's
do
true.
with the states of America, we could now make a map of Europe with all the countries that is, and it's really interesting.
One of the articles in Czech that I read before the show actually had 2 of those maps, and then it said underneath the source, Dutch passion.
They're always on it.
Yeah.
They are always on it.
It's another proof.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting to see what happened in Europe, like USA, because now we can put a really date, because now maybe in 10 years or 15 years, the situation in Europe can change really. Not like all the book that we see before that some years say in 10 years we have the legalization, but are past maybe 30 years. But now we see that in Europe every month, every year, some country do something for the cannabis community, for the cannabis industry, and it's interesting to see the difference of the law, because in America this difference, the law changed the panoramic. For example, for the grower, for the little grower in California, or for the little grower in Colorado in the beginning. So when start to legalize all the Europe, and the difference of the law between the country is interesting what happened for the black market, for what the country work behind to fight the black market and everything. No?
Yeah. What you said, like if Germany is gonna legalize in Spain, maybe the Spanish weed is cheaper, so there's still gonna be like a black market of people that's smuggling the Spanish weed.
Exactly. We need to see what happened. But in the legalization time, when in Spain is legal too, we need to see what happened in the different country, what the country talk about the cannabis regulation in his country in Europe, because it's important that the country talk about it, because
That's what you see for sure now in Germany, but also in the rest of Europe, that all these plans and these press conferences and presentations, they lead to a lot of media coverage and a lot of public debate. And just on the day that, right after the press conference, I got a call from our VOC advisor, Mr. Jean Rose. And
our secret weapon of the VOC.
The secret weapon of VOC. And he was very happy, saying the whole tone and also the imagery of the way that the Dutch, the big news media report these developments in Germany is very good. They didn't have the cliche images of super big joints and rastas or whatever, but just normal people, and seeing the ministers, and the whole atmosphere had very much changed, going to real normalization and not the criminalization that we've seen so often, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I would say good news from Czech.
Happy.
And we'll keep on it.
The last news item is about the Dutch coffee shop, the Blowboot. The Justice Department has been fighting this shop for over 13 years now, and the fight is not over yet. What is the story, Derek?
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. You know, also the founder, I think, of Koffie and Droom, Bart Vollenberg.
Yes.
And I've known him for years, and he has been, the Justice Department has been fighting him now for over 13 years. He is also one of the founders of Aardachtig, which is one of the 10 companies that will grow for the Dutch weed experiment. So that makes it extra strange.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the government is basically working together with this guy on the weed experiment, and on the same time the Minister of Justice is trying to fuck him in the ass already over 13 years. Because what happens, he has one of the best criminal lawyers in the Netherlands on the case, Gerard Sprong, and twice already the judge have said we cannot do this case because the case is about, quite not a real surprise, they found too much stock, which happens all the time with Dutch coffee shops. They can only have 500 grams maximum in the coffee shop, so there's always, somewhere where the stash is, where they have more kilos. Then every now and again, the police finds the stash and they take it to court. And over I'd say the last 6-7 years, most judges, they don't even have much time for that kind of case, because they simply say, if you run a coffee shop, you need a stock, like any shop has to. So we go away, Justice Department, we don't even want to take this case. This happened also with this case of the Blowboot. But then every time the Justice Department would appeal it and go to a higher court and say, yeah, but you look at it again, this guy had so many kilos, you can only have 500 grams, please, we want to prosecute him. And now this has happened for the third time in a row. And it's also reported that in the meantime, the Justice Department tried to get a settlement with the Blowboot, but they don't want to do it because they, like all their colleagues who have not been prosecuted for having too much stock, they don't want it either. So this keeps dragging on, and I've asked Bart Vollenberg a number of times already to be a guest on the High Tea Podcast, and he jokingly says, if the prosecution is finally over, then I will be happy to come on the show. So, dear listeners,
we hear you.
We have to wait a bit more before he can do it. But we'll keep you posted on the case, and we can expect that again. No judge is gonna really sentence him for this, I would say.
Yeah, let's hope it ends well and good for this time. That's it for our new segment. Let's focus on our guest, Bobby from La Kalada. And Bobby, we all like to start with the beginning, and so I would like to ask you to tell us a bit about you, where you grown up, and a little bit what the little Bobby was.
I grew up in Italy. I'm Italian, but and I started to smoke really young at school. So I started to hash lover in the beginning, because in Italy it's very easy to find hash and it's difficult to find weed. But I live in the zone that we have Slovenia near, so I try a lot of outdoor weed, and I try to start a lot of strange flavor or land race. And when I moved to Spain at 19,
to keep it a little bit in the beginning, what kind of weed you were smoking, kind of strains, of how did you find it? Was it easy to find it?
Yeah, I live in the city Gorizia, that is have an history like Berlin. Is my city after the war is divided in two parts. Okay. So we have Gorizia in Italy and Nova Gorica in Slovenia.
Oh, wow.
In Slovenia, and the culture of outdoor in Slovenia is really big, and they have a domaća weed, is the typical name that they call the weed, domaća, and is a typical skunky weed of Slovenia.
Okay. Yeah.
And we usually smoke that because it's very cheaper, so when you are young it's easy to find it.
Okay.
But the hash is the premium quality, so we see quickly that we want to smoke hash. We try to find the best hash, and in this time the charas, the first isolator, is maybe the top that we smoke, and we find in Bologna, in Italy, more big near.
Okay.
Near Amazon. Yeah.
So the hash, you were always already really interested in the hash and all kind of things.
Yeah,
and
extraction.
Was there a specific reason that you went to Barcelona? Or can you explain us a bit?
Because the repression, basically, we have a little social center in my city, and we promote the legalization, the integration, the integration of the people. We have a little lawyer for the people that arrive in this time from other countries. So we have like a little social center for the people, for the city. And apart, we smoke weed. So we have a big repression with us from the police and from all the authority. And when I finish the school, I say, I want 1 year to think about my life. Mm-hmm. And so I go to Spain, and I see totally other vibes.
What age were you when you left?
19 years.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I go for one year to try my experience after the school, like that. But I see other vibes outside my city. The world
open.
Yeah, the world is really big. So when I try to start to live in Barcelona, I see a lot of things. Finally, I start to live in Barcelona, and quickly, maybe 2 years later, but I start to grow in 1 year, 2 years. I start to put my first seeds. I do some planting in Italy, but nothing of important. Some testing outdoor.
And it was not your idea, say, I will go to Barcelona to work in cannabis. It was just I want to get out and see.
Yeah, just to enjoy my freedom.
Yeah,
at 19, I came from a little town, so when I see a big city, when you can change your quarter, you can change your life. I say, wow, I'm just one people in a big world. I'm not Roberto in this little country. So nothing. I start to grow. I start to try to do my isolator, my things, and 3-4 years after that, I arrive in Barcelona. Start the cannabis social movement.
How did it start? How did you?
I start to work in 2011 with IRAM, with the third club that opened in Barcelona.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also a member of that.
I'm also a
club.
member. Yeah,
legendary place.
I am the member number 5.
In the street of the Hash Museum, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They changed they take this social club is a social club for lucky strike smoker of tobacco. No?
Yeah.
They have all the paper to smoke tobacco inside. And all the color is from Lucky Strike, if you remember.
Wow.
But they take this paper and with €100, they change they put cannabis and they touch Lucky Strike. So we start to grow in the second floor of the social cannabis, and after we put big, but I don't have the same vibes with the owner of the.
And they were closed down, eh?
Yeah,
a number of years ago.
Yeah, with some trouble, and so with myself, I built La Kalada with my friends. I have.
So you were just growing for IRAM, or also
I'm
working the bar, or
no, I'm growing for IRAM.
Just growing.
I'm the grower, yeah. And the grower, I built the first 2 free room for grow room for IRAM. I do the first extraction. We do a lot of things for IRAM, but is not what I consider it for good for the community. No, I see a lot of. I don't know, a lot of things that I don't like. So I prefer, I see that this work can be real. So I try to do something with my friends, with my other family.
And tell us about...
and we still continue.
Tell us about the name La Kalada.
La Kalada is main puff.
Okay, in Italian?
In
Spanish?
In Spanish.
Okay.
Main puff in Spanish, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really...
That's a great name.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you started, you say with your friends, did you have like a firm idea of this is what we want to do, or what we want to do different than IRAM, or these are main goals? Or
we are in the beginning we are multicultural crew because we are 4 friends, and each of us have a different history, but all together we have the marijuana and the joint in common.
In common,
so, yeah. So. We put all our difference inside the project, but we have really 6 lamp, and we start with the 6 lamp, and we start to collaborate with other social club in Barcelona, and during the work in the La Kalada, because we do all with ourselves. So all the work in the beginning, we study the law, and so we replicate everything, because a guy is from the construction, a guy is from another thing, so we put all our knowledge, our friends, and we build the best that we can.
And you opened up 2012, eh?
And we opened in 20. We founded the Kalada in 2012, but we opened really the social club in 2013.
So this is your main Jubilee anniversary year this year?
Yes, exactly. Wow. We do 10 years of social club this
Fantastic.
year. Yeah.
So is it hard, like if you are, because I don't know if any of your friends were like Spanish or Barcelona residents before, was it hard to like get the license, or did you just start? Or how did it go in the first period?
Really is not too hard to start, because the wave to open the club will be very big from the beginning, because when the people understand that we can do, we start to do.
Yeah.
And so it's not so hard to take the license. Will be more hard to
keep it, maybe.
Yeah, to fight with all the situation. For example, find the first bank that accept money from weed is a problem. Or find for example, you say that in Czech Republic they ask to registration in a database. And this is the first problem that we have with the Spanish people. because if you are forester, you can enter in a social club, you put your name, no problem, because in 3 days you take your flight and you come back, no problem. But for the resident, for the neighbor in the beginning, put your ID for say I'm consumer is strange, you know. So the first is more fight with these things.
Okay.
And
but you have to be strict, I think. If someone, if they don't have their ID taken, you cannot make them a member, or
yeah, if you don't have it, yes. But the people don't want to put the ID. Yeah, they don't want to stay in anonymous.
Yeah.
To consumer, because they don't know if in 1 year or if the police enter in the club, they take the name of the people and they know if you are a consumer, if you are a customer, you know. So the people, because you can lose your driver license, you can have a lot of problem in your life if you are a...
Yeah, and that's why indeed what happens in the Czech Republic is interesting, because from what I understand is that they really want a database so that other clubs can see if the guy has bought weed in your club and cannot have any more because he will go over the limit, which is not happening in Barcelona.
No.
Yeah, it's all you have the system on for your own club, but it's not centralized like all the clubs are on there.
Yeah, I think this...
A bureaucrat's dream.
Yeah, I think the idea of this country is that the people can't buy a lot of quantity and can't resell it. But
That's it.
The price of regularization always is stabilized on just a little bit up on the black market. So it's very difficult to resell some product if you buy, you know. So I think is what I say before. I won't see what happened in Europe with all this difference in between the law, because finally the customer is intelligent, so he do what is better for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. If the system's not good, it's going to fail.
Yeah, that's true. And at some point, you guys went to America as La Kalada.
Yeah.
And then you also learned and meet a lot of really good people.
Basically, after 4-5 years of start the movement in Barcelona, the American people, the Holland people, all the world know what happened. And the cannabis take day by day, the edition by edition, he put always big. So finally arrived a lot of American in Spain, arrived a lot of Holland people, and the community can open this third big city in the world, maybe, no? And nothing, so we do some friends, and we start to see these friends in USA, and we start to bring some genetics. We start to do some collaboration, and we open our mind. Finally, when you travel and when I go to Holland or I go to America, I have a lot of influence from the terps, from the people, from the knowledge. So finally, it's important to travel and to see this.
If you compare those two scenes, like the cannabis scene in Barcelona and the growing to the one in California with growers and seed banks, what would you say are the main differences?
It's a good question. I see that the market in California changed very quickly, and is very different the situation from the first time that I go and what I see now. So I see maybe Spain now not more real, but more like Cali, like 20 years ago, that we try to do something different and we try to push our quality, and we fight between our friends, but a good fight, a good competition, yeah. And I see that the people in Cali fight versus the big investor. So they fight to survive now. They are friendly, but they live another part of the history of our legalization or our history. So I see that California is a dream. It's always a dream because they have a lot of history. There are the best terps, and is the heart of the cannabis community, I think.
Yeah.
Did it improve your vision on terps and quality and when you went there?
Yeah, I improved my vision all everything, because I see the future in Spain, the future in the cannabis industry. I see all the marketing, the good things and the bad things. I see the real people that work for the terps, for the community, to do something different, and they see what the big companies start to do and what they do now. So I take the best that I see, the better, and I try to bring with me.
Was that the base of the fundering, how you say it, from
Foundation.
the foundation of K Gourmet? Can you explain us about that?
Yes, is 1 week before Cannabis. We see we need to put a name to our extraction, to our work apart the club, because we see that the people love our work apart the vibes in the club, and we see that we can do a brand, like a little brand, like the little brand in Cali. And we want to share our philosophy, like and we say we talk K Gourmet, Kalada Gourmet. So
What does it mean for the people? K Gourmet?
Kalada Gourmet.
And gourmet is like a gourmet in Holland, where you do little bites with the good little bites, right?
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
No, but also just the finest. It's just the finest for
Yes,
the
the
connoisseur kind of thing. Yeah, and it's all extractions, huh?
No, we
Or just
we grow in the beginning. We grow a lot of flower too, and yes, and we start to grow flower and do the extraction. But in the last 3-4 years, we convert all the grow in grow for extraction. So now usually we wash everything.
okay.
Yeah, we wash all the grow.
you guys from real club owners, you guys really being washers the last years. Can you explain a little bit about your starting with washing? Because it's a different part of growing, of course. How did you discover it? And
Is a large history, because when I grow the first plant it's a large history, it's strange history, because when I grow the first plant in Barcelona with a friend, in the middle of summer he broke his part of the leg.
his knee.
His knee. So he need to come back to Italy, and we have this big plant in our balcony. So he say me, I can't smoke the weed. What we do? We wash it, and we do a big part, just a little bit part is more easy to smoke.
You knew how to do it?
Yeah, we don't know what we do, so we have a friends that know the isolator, the water ash. He's a friend of us.
Yes.
So it's a strange combination. These guys came to my house, and my friends stay in Italy for the operation, and we finish the grow and everything, and we wash. And we change for some this knowledge for some psycho mushroom. Okay, yeah, he give me the knowledge for because I harvest a little part of mushroom, and she say me,
But
I love it.
But were the plants done yet? Were they finished flowering or not?
Yeah, they finished flowering.
Yeah, of course.
Because my guys came back to Italy, so I finished the flowering in the balcony. When the plant is ready, I cut it, and because conserve a lot of weed in your house, and I don't know when he came back, so I say I give it back to you 25 grams of isolator, 30 grams of what can go. So when he came back, he have in my fridge the stamp of isolator. So
and you really enjoyed washing it.
Yeah.
You were thinking, holy shit.
See, yeah. Finally, in this time, in the south we smoke, in Europe we smoke a lot of hash, and in Spain you smoke a lot of hash, but the isolator in this time is not a lot in the culture of the smoker. So we smoke like the really premium things that we do finally of the grow. So we don't have the conception of the extraction that we have now. And when we open La Kalada too, we wash a lot, but we don't have dry freezer. We don't have all the clonal on the resin, all the plant for the resin that we have now. So the things are changed very quickly in these 10 years. for the conception of destruction.
What about the customers? Do they, like the majority now, go for concentrates instead of flour, or still a lot of people buy flour anyway?
A lot of people change for the extraction. Usually when they are more not so young, because finally you try to smoke less or to try something more hard sometimes. And I see a lot in Spain, they change when in the beginning you can find just one kind or two kind of hash in the street. And now you can do in a coffee shop, and you have in the social club, and you have 10 types of 10 types of dry sift and 10 types of water hash. So the people try every time something different and something better, and understand what is the resin. So the hash smoker now have a culture behind and know what he smoke. And if he buys something or he takes something for and he say dry sift 19 or dry sift 70, he knows if he really 19 or really 70. The people know, and the people change always in this part. So the good smoker of hash have some water hash with him always.
Yeah. The development of the hash game is incredible the last years, I have to say. I always was a little hash fan, but at certain point also when I was working in the Tourmaline 7 years ago, they came up with those dry sifts, and the first one was the banana OG dry sift and the Nicole, and those ones, holy shit, that was for me already a new flowery hash culture.
Of course, yeah.
And then at some point, it was also the first time we went to, for me, the first time I went to Spannabis. I got invited by Marianne to the La Kalada social club. I was really honored that I could go inside. But for me, it was also an eye-opener of flavors and all those things. So, I think Barcelona really stepped up the game quickly, also for the Netherlands, I think.
For sure.
If you see also those now the coffee shops in Amsterdam that are related to the social clubs in Barcelona, like the Plug, the Turps Army, it's incredible also how popular they are and how they pump up the quality now. Because a lot of coffee shop owners are a little bit... they feel the fire under their feet now, you know.
And they should, you know. It's
that's
good.
also...
the consumer is the one who has the advantage in the end. And of course, because of our crazy policy, they can be complacent, you know. They make easy money because there are all these limits, because you cannot open a coffee shop just like that, etc., etc. And of course, because all these countries don't have coffee shops, which makes a very big difference. So you don't have to really be at the top of your game and still do well. And then it's very good to have new kids in town, new competition.
And I was also explaining Bobby, like indeed, like his social club, he has a closed front door and an open back door because he knows exactly what's in his menu. He knows, and mostly single source.
Exactly the other way around for the Netherlands.
And for the Netherlands, for a coffee shop, they have an open front door. Everyone can walk in if you're 18 plus.
Even without registering.
But you have no idea what you're buying, and it could be... and even the owner doesn't even know most of the time.
Yeah. But the things change now for all the country. Yeah. Because it's unviable that not change. Because the country, when German legalize, Holland need to change some law for German, and German need to change some law for Holland, because we need to talk about it, because we are
That's
really
also
near.
what these ministers said at the press conference, that they will actively engage in conversations with other countries in Europe that want to have a more progressive cannabis policy. This, of course, could be very good news for the whole continent. Yeah. But it's again the half empty or the half full glass, I would say, with Germany.
I was also really what I think was really cool when I first went to your social club was the coins. and also it even had a logo on it or a face or whatever. It was for me also. How did you get? How can you explain us a little bit about the coins?
It's a funny history because we have a press in the club maybe 6-7 years ago. So in the morning we have we press and we do the coin, we do the rosin for the club. We prepare the menu, and I go with I don't know the name, a bandeja, a plate with all the coin ready. And I pass in front of Alessio, my partner, and just arrived a little is laser machine, very little laser machine. And in this time, he take all the things that he's around him and try to print something. I take a lighter, try to print the logo of Kalada with the lighter. He take everything. So I pass with the coin, the rosin, and he say me, I won't print a rosin. I say, you are crazy. You are crazy. No, I won't print a rosin. You are crazy. You won't print a rosin. Print a rosin.
Why not?
Yeah, he go out crazy and everything, all the clubs say, oh, wow. And finally we start to print everything. Maradona, La Kalada, all the big friends that arrived from Cali, that some present,
cool.
you know?
Yeah, I think it's super. I think it's legendary because of the heat, the color changes from the
heat.
Yeah,
we don't manipulate nothing. It's just a little bit of heat. Yeah, we put the more slowly temperature on the laser, and really, if you give the rosin open air, in one day it disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the oxidation came back. So,
but it's super cool and a unique thing, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
One thing that interests me as I see you rolling a joint, dabbing is of course big in some parts of the cannabis world. The first times I saw it was in Spain for sure, but
Same.
I have the idea that even in Spain it's not caught on that big. It's not that big a thing for people to bring their dab rig and dab. How do you see it? That most people would still enjoy these products by mixing with tobacco, or?
Well, we have a lot of kind of water rush, and we offer a lot of kind of water rush in our social club. So you can or rosin, but in especially with the water rush, you have always a choose for a full melt hash, so you can dab it, and you have a big choose of normal hash that you can smoke, and really. We have more people that smoke in a joint the water rush, but in the last 2-3 years we see more and more people that start to smoke dab, bring his puffco or his device to smoke without tobacco, and we see this new wave, this new consideration of extraction, this new method of smoke.
And how about people that switch to pure smoking without tobacco if they smoke weed? You see that happening, or it's still very small minority?
I see that this fight is already between because in the past there are a lot of people that smoke just weed. I have a lot of friends that smoke just weed, and they don't say all that we say now. Is always I see this, but for the extraction I see more that the people don't want to smoke more tobacco. See, the wave is. Don't smoke a lot of tobacco in the future, I think, with the cannabis. Because the extraction help to don't smoke more, because in the beginning, if you smoke extraction, it's always with tobacco.
Yeah.
For European culture.
Yeah.
Because if you smoke Moroccan hash, you can use tobacco. You need tobacco.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, that's definitely true. But indeed, for me also, how can I say it properly? But when I organized the cup, I also asked Bobby to compete, because I heard a lot of good stories about him, and I saw, and that was also the first time I saw a hash or isolator, I should name it, but it was totally liquid, or you could see
transparency.
Transparent. It was Yeah, that is incredible.
How do you make stuff like that?
with love.
With love. No, yeah, is it like for people that would like to try to make isolator themselves? Could you maybe give them a few basic tips or little hints for them how to get this kind of crazy quality without giving out the secrets of the chef?
No problem. But it's very easy to do isolator finally, because if you have your home grow and you don't have big batch of weed, we have washed a lot of time in a plastic cube with a remo for kayak, you know.
A pedal.
A palo, yes.
Yeah.
And with a kit of the micron bag extraction, normal kit of water rush, you can do your work. And finally, you have the knowledge now in the network, and you can see a lot of method to dry your water rush without the dry freezer. And you have a fire product, and you can smoke really good.
It's, and also, can you make really good isolator without a dry freezer?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We have a very good extraction in Barcelona, Docades, that he's famous to dry everything without the dry freezer.
Okay.
And he used the no frost dry freezer. He used a lot of technique to simulate the sublimation that we have in dry freezer. He do the same basically.
Yeah.
Similar. The result is fire. Yeah.
And talking about the Cannabis Cup, you also organize a nice
Cosecha Cup.
Yeah, the Cosecha Cup. Yeah.
How you got there? Can you tell us some more about that?
Yeah, we see that in Spain the people grow a lot in outdoors. So in the end of the season we start to see in the favor of the customer that he find and he love to try with the outdoor. So we say, well, we have a lot of outdoor weed here, so we can do a little competition between our members. So the first 2 free edition is just something in between our members. They grow a plant in the balcony, or they grow a plant in the house of the grandmother.
Homegrown.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Really cool. And after we see that came more and more people, and we start to do a cup more big.
More openly also.
Yeah. And now this year we don't do it, but maybe we do something in the next year. We have a lot of projects for 2023, 2024.
Yeah, because talking about projects, I'm glad we could have a moment with you, because your schedule is full booked. Can you maybe say something about those projects?
About why you visit our lovely country?
Yeah. We are in 5 days, 6 days for the 420. We do the inauguration of our resort in Thailand.
In Thailand,
Yeah.
Holy moly, that's so cool.
A little resort with 11 rooms, the Italian restaurant, the coffee shop, and we start our production soon.
So
really
also
2-3
Kalada
weeks.
stepped his feet in Thailand, and start making grows. Getting those K Gourmet, or if I pronounce it well, I didn't pronounce it well, but
I want to go, Rens.
this is
You are invited.
Yeah, this is
We
for
should
me.
go.
Holy
We should
moly.
go for sure.
Yeah.
It's on Koh Samui, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a great island.
And we start
We can kick around Bangkok a bit and then go Koh Samui. I see it all before me.
Let's go. Holy moly. Oh, tell us more about Thailand. How did that started?
We started last year like a joke when the law changed, and we have a big friends here and there, and nothing. We try, and finally after 2-3 months, we receive an email that we have all the paper.
Wow.
So we find a direction, because you need an address and a real coffee shop. So we talk with the friends and we say, we have this project, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They say, okay. So we do this combination. We find old banana cultivation camp, and we rent it, and now we build inside the first grow room indoor. So
How do you think about the whole Thailand regulation? How they do it like this?
interesting, because now in Thailand, in the beginning, we don't have any kind of regulation, any type of regulation. So it's anarchy. Like now, the government start to put some law. For example, in the beginning, stop the importation because Thailand was full of Cali weed.
Polluted.
Yeah. And so they stopped the importation. So now we can import. And now the next step maybe is the traceability of the weed. So we start to do a really good traceability with the barcode and all these things to do the traceability of the weed that the weed need to grow in Thailand. You can't sell weed, not Thailandese weed.
But I think it'd be perfect if it's all in-house. If you can guarantee we grow this weed ourselves, we extract this ourselves, from our own plants. Is fantastic. That's what I'd say customers want.
Yeah. So now in Thailand the things can change step by step in the next year, and what I see that now there are a lot of coffee shop and the people are start to grow a lot, and I have just the fear that we can the no regularization of this can be put in a future like what passed in Italy with the CBD. So we have like a big bubble, and after this bubble when collapsed, the price go down and the market finally is really unstable for a long time. And
it's the risk. Yeah,
it's the big risk. So we see what happened, and it's really that Thailand you can do the things without a big inversion. So we are
like a small. You can do.
Yeah, we are a little family.
Yeah,
so we want just put here our philosophy, and we see what happened.
Because could you summarize what went wrong in Italy with the CBD industry?
Yeah, what happened in CBD in Italy? In the beginning, started like a rush to the CBD, so all the people start to grow CBD and put a lot of CBD. When each year when we harvest, in the beginning, you need a lot of CBD. And Italy is pioneer, so he sell a lot of CBD outside, in Germany, in Switzerland, in France, in Greece, in Spain. So we have a lot of Italian CBD in Spain. But the no regularization of from the government and the stable situation from the government, every year they change the law, they do something that they put fear to the growers. So a lot of fear, a lot of small grower die, and the big company take it. So now the CBD Italy industry is not good, is not bad, is like in strange situation. It's not better. If you see the beginning, now the situation is.
And do you think like if they hold out long enough that they can switch to THC like normal cannabis and then they are ahead, or will Italy be too slow?
Italy is very conservator, no, in these things. So they talk about, but they don't really talk about. So
Italians sure can talk.
For
in
sure.
Politics, eh?
For sure, Italy do these things when Italy wait German, because in the moment that the Germany legalize the weed, change everything, because Italy is really near to Germany and France for all this decision. So it's not the first country of these three that legalize for sure.
And do you think that Italy, that the Italian culture would it be compatible with cannabis social clubs like they want to do now in Germany, or just need like a commercial system?
Will be amazing, but I think the second way is more
probable.
Easy. Probable, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not good because I think I'm Italian, but I think the Italian people do a lot for this market in the last 20-30 years. In Barcelona, we do a lot of things. In Holland, we are in a lot of projects, and we have do a lot of things. In Holland, we are in America. So we hope to work in our country too.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, exactly. Because
I remember when we had Lorenzo on the show of Terps Army that we talked a bit about. Okay, imagine if it would be legal and you could do it in your home country. He was more like, I'll never go back. What do you think? If you could do it in Italy, would you move there and try to build something there, or?
For sure, Italian are people that are traveled for the beginning. No, we are everywhere.
Yeah.
And
it's incredible.
It's incredible.
How many Italians are in Barcelona, for example?
Yeah, but in all the world.
True.
From Australia to USA, you see a lot of Italian people. But I'm lost.
The idea of returning to Italy if you could work there legally.
Yeah, when we are
or don't bother and go just to Thailand and Barcelona and stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
When
I'm young, I told with my grandfather, and I see that we travel, and the good when the people travel and bring our experience back to our country. So if I'm a good extractor or a good grower, for example, will be good to improve the cannabis culture to my region, to my people, and push up the level in Italy.
Yeah. So if you consider, what do you consider yourself first and foremost, as like a grower or an extractor or a club owner? What's your main
activist?
Yeah, I consider a weed lover, but in the first step, I'm an extractor. I travel, I don't know, 6-7 times a year just to do extraction or to find plant or to search to do something related for the extraction. I spend, I don't know, all my day talk about extraction or to do extraction.
And is there someone who taught you like the most about the process and about techniques, or did you gather it from all different sources maybe?
But usually every year, every 6 months, you have something new. A new texture, a new technique, a new terps. So finally you run to do it, or to be the first of this, or to do it, or to have it quickly. No? So finally we play with the terps and with the techniques, with the texture. So we see a lot of what happens in the market, and we try to put our level always up and try to do everything. Yeah.
And I also seen a lot of things about Melt One.
Yeah.
Can you say something about that?
Yeah, is a project that we started with Gabri of Grateful, and we wash a lot together, and we do a lot of cup together, and we win a lot of prize together. So every time when we wash, we talk about some experience or some things that we can do better. And one day we say we need to try to do our machine. So he washed a lot of years ago in Cali with a system like this, but we say we can do better. So we put the refrigeration. We have to take a cube, and we put a cone in the end of the cube. So you recollect the resin with his weight. So when you wash, all the resin with the weight go in the cone
goes down.
Yeah, and you can dry in the weather without any problem of your body, because it's a lot of water, and you have all the resin in this cone, so you can dry just the first 60 liters of the machine, and you don't need to drain all the water. So you don't use a lot of water, you don't use a lot of ice because it's refrigerated. And we play with the things that in around 20 minutes, all the resin is on the top. Is on the end of the
machine.
The machine, because the weight specific to it is bigger. Don't floating the resin, floating the vegetable part.
Yeah.
So all the resin is downstairs. So we drain it and we take our hash. So we do this.
Super cool that you guys are thinking, how can we do it better, and just build it yourself. And I've seen the machine, and it's really impressive, and how efficient you can work with it indeed. And normally you should have pour the water out into the filter bags, and you lose all the water and ice and all these things. And if you need to wash a lot, then you need a lot of ice and all these things.
Yeah,
So,
and with this machine, you are more. You spend less ice, less water. You have a best result. So
and do you also have your favorite flowers to wash with, for example?
Now I spend the last 2-3 years to wash a lot of fruit joy, papaya, all these kind of herbs, and usually it's like that. I like hypnotize for some herbs, and they grow it a lot, and after I don't want more.
Yeah.
So I find something new, some new cross, or now with some friends we do a lot of selection, a lot of new seeds, and we try something.
I have that with orange turbs.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
I think it's the first turb that will get to annoy you, even if you. It's so.
I haven't reached that point yet. I still like some.
Yeah, I made the
orangey
mistake.
turbs. Why not?
I made the mistake that I
smoked too much.
I got some flowers from a friend of mine, and I was so fan of it. And it was blood orange tangy that I bought like 100 grams of it, and I smoked the whole month only blood orange tangy, and now I can't smell orange, and I get like that if you eat too much candy, that's a little bit that feeling. But I really hope that I don't have that with the other turbs. I was afraid that I maybe gonna have that with, for example, the Skittles or something. Can you imagine? But so for all the listeners, if you love the orange, just smoke it once a week or something, or please keep enjoying it, because because it's also, I have to say, if I smoke it in the hash form, a good orange dry or isolator, then it sometimes it can really please me still. So I'm happy with that.
I spend a large part of my life to smoke tangy, all kind of tangy.
Nice.
And in the hash, in Moroccan hash, we spend like 2-3 years to find the best flavor, and we try to find it now. And I can't smoke a lot now. But yes, I need to smoke something because I love it. So depend of the taste, and I want this in my pocket to try in the day, because it's a good tips to change the other one.
That's really nice. So I think we covered a little bit your story from as a little stoner to now a master and grower.
One thing I'd like to ask you about before we forget is, I noticed like last time that we were in Barcelona around the Spannabis week, that the menus were like super impressive in the clubs, and also very different from the year before. Like if you go to a Dutch coffee shop, they usually have some varieties that are there for sometimes for years. But I have the idea that in the clubs in Barcelona it goes like super fast, and the variety is like hype, and then next year there will be a different type, and the whole menu will be different. What's your experience being there?
I think the same. When we start this wave in Barcelona, always open with the weed that we have in Spain. A lot of critical, 3-4 different phenotype of critical, 3-4 phenotype of AK-47, 3 of Black Domina, all this strain. And in the travel, when we see in Holland that we have the same, but with the amnesia, with all the old school strain. So we see we can't do the same, because we need to take the people to change with our menu quickly, to offer something different always, to don't bore the people. Because finally you need to try something new. Yeah, you like the amnesia, or you like the critical, or you like the tangy, or you like this flavor, but you can't smoke just this. No, for me, for example, in this part of my life, or when I'm young, or a lot of my friends, so we need to try a lot of things, and we do the sesh to share the new terms and to show what we find, what we have, and finally this is our work. So we need to put something new, because finally the people copy you very quickly. So you want are different.
You want to step up the game all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible to
and this is
to
good.
taste it.
Yeah, all the club in Barcelona finally they want some similar flavor, because the good is good for everything, but we need to have something different from each club to each club. Or like Holland, 20 years ago when I came the first time in the coffee shop, we have a little map, and we go in the Blackbeard for one thing, so we go to Barney for one thing, so we go to Kandinsky for one things, and then finally in the weekend in the week we have smoked 20 different kind of weed, and we have by 1 week in one coffee shop, because we know we want to smoke this weed of this coffee shop because this grower is good. You know. So we have this idea, because we have born in the cannabis world with the idea of Amsterdam. Amsterdam is our like Rome for the Catholic, you know. So
it makes me happy to hear it.
Yeah, and when we came here, when we are young, we have all the legend and the history of Shanti Baba, Soma, Franco. All these people are our inspirator of us. So and we find this work. Where is the super lemonade of Franco? Where is the grow of the blueberry with all the I remember the in Kandinsky we buy the what is the name?
Because Kandinsky indeed is such an old Amsterdam coffee shop.
So,
I remember.
White Russian.
No, the White Russian.
Something.
Dr. Grispoon. The Dr. Grispoon.
Yeah.
I talk about 2010, around this year, 2009.
Hardly anybody grows it.
Yeah. And
But you sometimes get it. I got it from Ricardo. Zandam. It's
The
fantastic
really
weed.
little balls.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this time we are crazy for the AIDS. Jack Herrer. And when Barney do the Dr. Grispoon, we say, it's crazy. We need to try. Yeah. And yes, so we try to do in Spain to build something similar of the old school in Holland, that you find the Kalada, because Kalada have the fruit joy, you have the Clementine Kush, you have all this our selection that put our famous, because we try to put some new terps, some different terps in the market.
I was also, how many clubs you think there are in Barcelona?
Minimum 220, and we are 1.5 million people.
And Amsterdam has 160 coffee shops. So Barcelona wins.
I think it's for everyone who's listening to this podcast. I think it's
the new Mecca, Barcelona.
For me, it's the new Amsterdam. I think it's such a
it's different.
pleasure. Yes, of course.
It's different from the start.
Okay, but for me,
it's different.
The club feeling is just what is also great. Like we talked about before, the idea of, even if it's not all your friends or something that are in the club, you still get this sort of feeling that you are in. To me, it's very different from a coffee shop, which has advantages that you can be anonymous and just walk into a shop and nobody knows it. But especially, I'd say, in modern times with so much online, it's really good to, if you're welcomed in a club and you enlist with a friend who introduced you, and then the woman or the man that's behind the counter, he explained about the club. I like that process, and also the idea. We've been having so much fun doing that you hear all the gossip, and all the stories and the Instagrams about this club has fire, weed, and you go there and you try to get in. It's an adventure.
You have to find the door first.
Yeah.
That's always the adventure, Where is it?
So you might say you sort of reinvented the thing, because the coffee shop, it is different from the club. But I must, going back to this tweet at the beginning of the show of Tom Blickman, people should still recognize that the Netherlands, for a long time, we were the only ones that kept the flag flying. So don't dump on us too much. Although it is true that we sort of, we lost the ball because of our politicians.
Yeah, but I think Holland, Amsterdam, and now for the first time I stay in Eindhoven, but I see Tilburg. I see a lot of cannabis history. So we don't have these things.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't have this kind of podcast, this kind of library. I feel the history in Holland, and like Rome for the Catholic in Italy, because you can talk with a lot of people that know this industry from the really beginning. When we smoke the Nepalese, or when we smoke the charas, or when we smoke this kind of thing. That when I'm young, I grow up with this hash, this history. So now the world change is more marketing and more brand, the packet and all of these things. But in the beginning we have more, I don't know, romanticism. No?
And authenticity.
And in Holland you can feel all of this now. History is more old because you see the coffee shop is not so new like the cannabis club in Spain, but they have history. Yeah, the coffee shop that we see yesterday, you can feel the history inside.
Yep.
Yeah, you have
definitely.
a big energy inside.
We had a nice dinner at the Grass Company. Where it's so funny how the world is so small. Because La Kalada is now opening a really cool resort in Thailand, and we were just sitting yesterday in the coffee shop from some coffee shop owner who's got really screwed in Thailand because he had a coffee shop. So
Johan van Laarhoven.
Yeah, but it's funny how the world turns really fast now.
To see it in Thailand, of all places, is
can't
amazing.
Imagine, So it's a pleasure to hear how you're doing, and I think we will.
And really, if more people go into Thailand with a mentality and a plan like you have, like you grow on your own site, and you have it all packaged together, indeed, including a hotel with an indoor dispensary and a nice Italian restaurant. Wow, what could be better?
Yeah, and I had also a question about Thailand. You think you can put your hash culture into the Thai cannabis culture, because it's super sticky and it's pretty warm there, I think. So,
and humid, it's not really good for.
What do you think of that?
We are thinking all these details because the humidity and the hot is a problem for the resin, but for the weed too.
Yeah.
So in the resort we put a little fridge in all the rooms, so you can conserve all the stuff in
that's
in your room without any problem. And the packaging is thinking about this too. And now we have a lot of texture with the extraction and with the water rush to conserve it and to smoke it in the hot temperature.
Yeah, so it's maybe crumbly.
Yeah,
so
more
you can.
crumbly.
That's also an interesting way that you can make the hash the proper way to roll at each climate, and it's funny how you think about that.
Yeah, finally the man always adapted all the situation to smoke his joint. You know, if it's cold,
all through history, it's true.
Under 20 degrees or more 50, you find some method to smoke.
Yeah, that's true. We are adapting fast.
Yeah,
that's for me, it's this extra big reason to go to Thailand. I was already hoping I'm going soon. Hopefully with the Dizzy Duck.
Yeah, we can drop by also at the Ramzai family.
Yeah, we had a podcast here before with the guys from Royal Queen Seeds, and they were also.
They opened the youth.
I think they were one of the first I saw opening something that at least a European brand that was opening something in Thailand. It was crazy how fast they were. I think within a week it was there.
We can do the next one in Thailand. The next podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
have
would
some nice birds, tropical birds, in the background.
Yeah, that would be super.
The waving of palms.
Super cool. Yeah, well, I think it's a good moment to go to our listeners' response.
Indeed.
Because
you asked around for some questions, didn't you?
I put on the Instagram that Bobby was coming, and we had some really nice questions. And as always, I choose one, the lucky one. We send a nice package to him from Seed Stalkers this time. And also for everyone, if you have a question, a suggestion, anything for the show, you have a nice story, send us an email to info@High Tea Potcast.
Podcast with a T.
Podcast with a T.nl or post something in our DM or whatever. You can find us. And this time we got a really nice question from the Wolf in Them. People know him. I think we should also do.
He's a friend.
Yeah, he's a nice. He's a boss. He asked, how does the micron size from the determine? I was afraid of this, and now I fucked up because of the good isolated.
How does it determine the micron size?
Yeah, how does the micron determine the rosin texture and if they intact the terp profile? If you
is impossible. Each micron have a terp profile, so you can't have in one micron all the terps profile because the plant, when you grow the plant, you have a mix of flavor from the more mature trichomes, the more early trichomes. So when you do the extraction, to have the more complete terpene for the plant is a full spectrum with all these text, the background flavor, the up flavor. After, if we won't do the best rosin or the more complete rosin, but we need to see the quality of rosin. We take in consideration the quality of rosin and everything. For sure, 140 micron, 120 are the best micron for smoke in rosin.
For flavor.
Yeah, for flavor. Yeah.
So I was also asking you in the car about it. I was wondering as well, like how does I always see like the 27 of 72 U and 90 U and 120.
You're wondering what the hell does it mean?
I can of course I can understand like the sizes
of the little holes.
Yeah, the smaller the less plant material gets in, so the more pure it is. But yeah, you said I prefer to smoke the 120.
Yeah, I prefer for joint. I prefer to smoke 120 or 40 because are the bigger trichomes. So when you have a lot of sauce and a big trichomes, you need to understand that a trichome on 140 is 2 times big or 3 times big of a trichome 73 or 45. So he can take some vegetable part, but you have a lot of fat part of sauce, of oil. So is the more fatty resin stay inside in this part. So to smoke the joint, I prefer this for me. But yes, if for the terpene, if you want the more complete, because when you do the extraction and you separate the 70 micron from the 90 micron, and you have all the different screens separate, you have a different flavor in all the screen, because the big resin, for example, when you work with the cross too, you have some big resin that have the flavor more a barbara, and the small resin, for example, have the flavor more a papaya. So if you smoke a joint of 73, it's more papaya. If you smoke a joint of 140, it's more barbara. And if you mix everything, you have the fruit joy, the real fruit joy. You know.
Wow. So. It's now getting for what you say. People gonna say I want hash 90U, but also I wanted to say it more complicated, but but it's getting so much detailed. How you say it. It's
because finally we work for the terps. So when you smoke something, you need something good to smoke. Then the micron that usually they put 90, 73, or all this kind of micron is to understand the purity, the cleanness of the hash.
Yeah.
But really, if you have an hash maker, you put this just for the commercial people, because you know if the hash is full melt or is what kind of hash you have in your hand, no?
Yeah.
And
So what I wanted to say, so his favorite is Fruit Joy cut number 20. 120 U. Yeah. Fresh frozen, you know.
Full plant,
yeah,
etc.
it's
So like you mentioned, and I think I agree with you, that it's all about the terps. Do you think in the future, instead of like a strain description or a THC percentage, the terps will be like a big thing on the menu or in the communication towards people buying it?
yeah, I think exclusivity in the first step for all the people that want to have a brand or are different in the market, that the keeper and the terps of this keeper and the difference that we have of the same plant but you have a different keeper is what do you different in the market. So because all the people have Sunset Sherbet or all the people have Skittles, but a good cross between Sunset Sherbet and Skittles, if you find something very good, you are alone to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the power is in the people that select something different from the cannabis industry that you have in this moment.
yeah, I'm looking really forward to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So thank you, Wolf and the Dam, and I'm sorry for my terrible English and my struggle. But we're gonna make sure we get in contact, and we're gonna send a nice package to you.
Indeed, we will.
I say, Derek, we go to the old box. Let me get that tune ready. And yeah, I was wondering, what do you got in the old box this time?
I have an old Arab legend that was written down in a letter from 1914 by British traveller, writer, archaeologist, explorer, cartographer and political officer Gertrude Bell. And this woman was played by Nicole Kidman in the movie Queen of the Deserts. And the fragment of the letter with the Arab legend is reprinted in this delightful book that I have here. I think I used it before on the old box. It's called Token Women by Nola Evangelista, whose real name is Ellen Comp, and she compiled a lot of women that have a link with cannabis. And one of them is Gertrude Bell, who wrote down this Arab legend in a letter from 1914. There were 3 men. One drank arak. That's a distilled alcoholic beverage. The other, wine. And the third, hashish. And when they rose to go out of the house, they looked at the door. And the father of arak said, "It is great as the door of a khan. We can never open it." And the father of wine said, "It is open, and the flood of a river is flowing through. We cannot pass." But the father of hashish said, "Then we must climb the wall." And he climbed the wall and dropped into the street.
Amen. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Here we go to the last segment. Het Kweekhoekje.
Het High Tea Potcast Kweekhoekje. Yeah, it's the great season, of course, for all the outdoor growers out there. I think we've all planted, the people that are planting this year. I know I did. And all of them have come up. One little problem that I had with one of them is that the seed shell is still very much locked onto the thing. And I try to sort of really gently get it away from the plant. But do you have a tip for that specific problem, Bobby? Or do I just wait? Because that's, I don't know. Can it still develop when it's in the shell bit? Or
Yeah, you need to wait. Or I with the teeth of stick teeth, a little stick. I try to open.
Okay. Yeah.
Like China. When you go China,
Like
when
the
you go
stick.
the stick. More smaller. You try to
Very
open.
gently.
Yeah, with some water sometimes
Yeah.
you can put more softly.
Okay. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
And do you have any other
Yeah,
tip for a listener?
I have a tips for the hash maker, because I know if you want to start to do hash, wash all your grow is difficult. So you can take a jar, you can put a lot of ice, or you can put in the freezer, and when the water is really, really cold, you can put, I don't know, 10 grams of weed, and you can do a test with each phenotype that you have in your grow room. So you can shake the jar with 10 grams of fresh frozen wheat, and in the end of the jars you can see if you have a lot of resin, what color of the resin, and if you like this plant, you can wash everything.
Okay.
Or not. You can't wash all the grow without know the result. No? So you
Yeah,
can do
yeah. So is it for you a good indication of what you're gonna get? After?
It's a good indication, because when we do the selection of the phenotype, after we grow this phenotype in a large scale, no? So we try to do 1 meter, 2 meters, and we can lost resin. So we can do the try without have any security of the return. No? So we do some tests, and with your eyes you see if you have around half a gram or 1 gram of ice, you're okay. With 10 grams, half a gram is perfect.
Okay. So for everyone that wants to try it out, it's even a good homegrown way to just make isolator quickly by yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't have the tools like a bucket and you have only one plant, you can do 10 grams or whatever. Or really, really cool. Make your own isolator. And if you have some
Isolator test.
if you have some really good one, make sure Bobby test it for his obvious good taste.
Yep.
And
And of
knowledge.
course, if you have any specific questions on growing outside or inside, make sure you get them to us by sending an email or putting them in the comments.
Always welcome. Send us over. That brings us to the end of episode 73 of the High Tea Podcast.
74, I think you mean.
74. You put 73 on it.
Oh, God, it's my fault.
Yes,
It actually was 74.
It's sorry. I'm gonna.
But it flew past.
It felt like 73 so fast. Bobby, thank you so much for your time and that you came over to the High Tea Podcast studio.
Thank you to invite me, and I'm happy to come back.
That's
Fantastic.
thank you so much.
Maybe we'll do indeed the next time we meet will be in Thailand.
Yeah, for sure.
He
But
got
that's about it.
awesome colleagues, and they also should be on the show as well. Alessio and the rest, they are awesome guys. So good luck with all those things in the
Thank
future. And Derek, thank you.
Thank you, Rens,
for being on the show again.
Thanks, of course, to the sponsor of this episode, our friends from Seedstockers, affordable cannabis seeds for home growers, available at seedstockers.com.
Yeah, and thank you for listening and help us grow the High Tea Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe, and spread the love.
Yep.
Hey.
See you or listen to us next time.
Yes. See you next time. Bye bye.
Houdoe.